A very good afternoon to all the viewers. Welcome back to BW People HR Voices. Today, we're joined by a seasoned professional with more than 2 decades of diverse leadership experience, Mr. Sunil, who's currently the CEO of TeamLease Digital. Mr. Sunil's expertise lies in developing strategies to maximize business value and building relationship with key stakeholders while enhancing the organizational agility. Prior to this, Mr. Sunil was associated with Kescorp, Adecco India, 3M India, and Xerox. Firstly, welcome, Mr. Sunil. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Savi. I'm happy to be here.
So, for all the viewers, today's theme for the conversation is Future of White Collar Jobs in the Age of AI. So, Mr. Sunil, in this digital era, a recently developed technology, let's say, which was developed a week back, today it has become obsolete. That's the level of technological advancements that have been happening today. So how do you think the white collar workforce should be prepared for the future of AI and the rapidly transforming technological landscape?
It's an interesting situation where we have seen this happening in the past, haven't we? We have seen when the computers first came in. We all thought that the jobs are lost forever because they are going to replace the jobs. Whether you call white collar, predominantly white collar jobs. Similarly, when the industrial revolution happened and machines started becoming automated, we feared that the blue collar jobs are lost. However, over a period, we realized that there is a new platform where both things coexist. The automated new innovations as well as the workforce coexist. So, and that's going to precisely the same thing what is going to happen in future. So there should be fear, and there will be fear about loss of jobs when it comes to white collar jobs. This particular new innovation, which is the generative AI, is different from the previous innovations where it was more about automation and increasing the productivity. But now generative AI is also able to interpret, also able to do some amount of critical thinking and analysis, which is the biggest fear of for the white collar people, because all that the white collars get paid or hailed is for their critical thinking abilities and their decision making abilities. Now we are stepping into an era where AI, maybe few more such technologies will be able to throw up decisions, will be able to interpret data better than or quicker than what we can do. And it can also take certain decisions and then throw it to us saying that, should we go ahead or no? So that leads a kind of a confusion, because what happens is that, it was always believed that, automation will replace the lower order thinking skills. But the higher order thinking skills for what white collar employees are hailed for, that will not get replaced. But that's where the line is becoming very, it's almost, there's no line now. It's I can see that a lot of the routine mundane jobs can be immediately replaced by AI. So even if you look at the World Economic Forum report, which was recently launched, it predicted that there are going to be 2.6 million new age jobs which will get created. At the same time, there will be around 69 million new jobs of regular skills which will be created, but there will be 83 million jobs which will get lost. So there is a net deficit of 14 lakhs in the regular jobs. And apart from that, there are 2.6 million technology jobs which are going to be created. So which, if we take it, if you add all those things, jobs still are going to get created. It's not that there is a deficit of jobs. The fear that the jobs will go down, and particularly India has to be worried more because we are going to have in the next 3 decades the largest working population, largest young working population, talented, qualified, because of the demographic dividend what India has received. And in that parlance, if there is a fear that jobs will be lost because of AI, then there is that creates a lot of fear factor. But to put the things in perspective, and if I interpret the World Economic Forum report properly, it very clearly mentions that while there is going to be a negative, there is going to be a deficit, 14 million job deficit in the regular skills. But overall, more than 60% of the jobs are going to, the kind of jobs are going to get replaced. And that's why 2.6 million new jobs are going to get created. So in that sense, you will not have a deficit. Yes, it is important for us to recognize that the kind of jobs what we are doing today and what jobs we'll be doing in future are going to be completely different. There is going to be a close cooperation or collaboration with generative AI, or generative AI is something which has come up now. As you rightly said, the technologies are changing so fast. There are many more to come in, and we have still not even seen the full outcomes of this generative AI. There's a lot of talk, but the real impact of that will be seen in the years to come. So in my view, it's best to see the entire issue where the jobs will not be lost. There will be more jobs created. At the same time, the kind of jobs what we are doing will be replaced. There will be a new type of job which will be at offer.
Right. So you very rightly, I completely agree with you. Where you very rightly mentioned about job displacements. So lately, so many companies have been in news where they're displacing jobs, especially of the administrative and the routine workforce, by chatbots or automation that is coming up. But how, from the organization's point of view, how do you think the companies should be prepared, or let's say the HR professionals of the company should be prepared for the potential workforce restructuring?
Yes, so the first and foremost is communication is very important. There is a fear in the organization now. As you rightly said, a lot of the functional skills, there is a fear that it will be replaced. So I don't think they are completely going to be those jobs are completely going to be lost. So there should be a very clear communication. The tone from the top should be very, very important. We should reinforce that the jobs are not going to be completely lost, that it's going to be displaced or replaced. So and then comes the next step. After we communicate it, what should we do? We should actually assess the organization in terms of each department where technology can be used, where the new age technologies, generative AI can be used, and how can we improve the productivity and efficiency of the existing employees. And already there are a lot of implementation and case studies where in marketing, in HR, and a lot of other functions, even in finance, they have used some AI skills and have been able to improve the productivity and efficiency. So we need to assess that, and post assessment, it's very important to repair, prepare, and upskill the existing workforce. And this is not a one-time activity. This is a continuous activity. If I give you an example of when the ERP systems came in, prior to that, it was all manual, and we used to spend a lot of time to get the correct records. Post that, the Excel started getting used a lot. But when the ERP implementation happened across the organizations, today we can say that around 95 to 98% of the organizations have got ERP. And in that sense, none of the finance jobs are lost. Do you believe that there are no finance jobs lost? Correct. Everybody is there. So many chartered accountants are getting jobs, and there is more of BCom and MCom guys getting jobs. So that's the way we should think this transformation also. So we should not believe that all these jobs will completely get lost. They will get transformed. So earlier, the expectation from the accounts department was that they will do all the entries and do it. But now the system does it. But still, it should be interpreted by a human being, and they are required to validate those data, because machines cannot be 100% sure. in that sense, the generative AI is slightly different because it can be very correct, and it can also give you decisions, and it can also interpret data, but still you'll require somebody to validate that and implement that. So the organization should ensure that this communication goes very clearly, repair, prepare, and upskill of the workforce happens, and they also should train them on the usage of the new age tech tools like AI or whatever we take, in terms of it can also be biased. You should also be trained on how to interpret the data, and how to validate the data with by applying some human brain. So those are the kind of trainings which we should do on a regular basis, and this cycle will should go on for some period of time till the stability we achieve a stable work environment.
So, Mr. Sunil, earlier you mentioned that even with the rise in generative AI or the AI technologies, the white collar workforce will still retain hard skills like creative skills or thinking skills and decision making skills. So these skills can also be somehow outsourced with AI. But what about the emotional skills and the self awareness skills, the emotional intelligence? They're going to be valued much more because as of at this stage, AI lacks all these skills.
Yes.
So how can the white collar employees be trained for this transition?
See, emotional skills, empathy, and soft skills play a very important role for any employee's growth in an organization. Even today, we even if a guy can be a rocket sales guy, but if he doesn't have emotional skills, and if he can't empathize with his team, and it can lead to toxicity and it can lead to a lot of things we have seen in the recent times. So it's the same in future also. So these are some of the skills which are evergreen skills. As long as humans exist, as long as workforce exists, we need to have this. We do have challenges even in the current environment, where there is not enough focus, I would say. While there is so much of talk happening on empathy, emotional skills, but there is a belief that a nice man comes last. So if you are nice, you are not expected to be a brilliant leader. In most of the organizations, they believe that an aggressive guy who can speak loud and who can drive aggressively is somebody who succeeds. And in that we also miss, in that belief we also miss the emotional quotient. We have somewhere left behind the empathy skills, etc. Correct. So this has to be reinforced first in the current work environment also. And I am always a believer that this is something which is a continuous learning process, and continuously we should reinforce that. And with the machines coming in future, with the AI and other new technologies getting into our workflow, it is more important for us. We should not reach a situation where a manager says that don't talk to me, or don't argue with me, this is what the machine has given and this is how it will work. That's going to be very detrimental. If such a situation arises in future, then there is no place for any discussions or any negotiations, or people will just blindly go by machine, and that should not be done. And as part of the training, we also need to educate them and continuously reinforce these core soft skills. Empathy and emotional quotient is very important.
So training
even the stress, how to deal with stress, because when you see somebody doing better than you, in this case the machine doing better than you and quicker than you might be under stress. Not that we don't have stress now, we do have stress because of various other reasons, but in future the reasons for our stress are not going to be our colleague or our supervisor, but it is going to be our partner who is helping us to do the job. So we should also deal with stress to a large extent.
So definitely, I think training and education on soft skills is very important today. But most of our viewers are HR professionals. So if you could suggest a few initiatives that these professionals can take in their organizations to instill the values of empathy and an ethical perspective and foster a culture of this collaboration between the team and the employers? How can it
Yeah.
be done? What is TeamLease doing on this?
So we have a very structured, a learning and L&D program, which we, design at the start of the year. We discuss the L&D team discusses with the business teams at the start of the year, and we make it into a calendar in such a way that there is a frequent reinforcement of certain skills like empathy, in terms of emotional quotient, in terms of soft skills, how to deal with stress, and how to deal as a first time manager, how to deal with teams. So these are the trainings which we do it on a regular basis, because you will have suddenly people moving to team management roles, and if you don't know how to deal with how to handle yourself and your team, then you are under tremendous stress, and you also end up doing mistakes. These are mistakes which can prove very costly for the organization. So we do this on a regular basis. We also invite or we also take help from external consultants. We have a lot of experienced folks around the country who can help us with their experience in how to train them. Sometimes what we teach internally may not get valued as much as when you get somebody from outside. We do send some of our leaders to external institutes also for a campus immersion, where there are a lot of courses which are available, so that they are prepared better. So a combination of external training courses, external consultants, and internal trainings on a regular basis. A lot of organizations I think this as a discretionary investment. In our organizations, we think that this is not a discretionary investment. This is actually discretionary spend, they think. But we feel that is a discretionary investment, because if we don't invest in our people, we will not be able to do well in future. In fact, the belief we have is that you build people and people build organizations. It's not the other way. You build organizations and then you get somebody to run the organization. It's not that. People investment is a very crucial investment, and repairing, preparing, and upskilling them on a regular basis, and reinforcing that with timely interventions. So you need to like, for example, now the machines are going to be a part of our workflow. So how to collaborate with machines, how to interpret the data, how to communicate the outcomes of this data with our interventions to our team members, are all those things which are very essential. And this has to be an ongoing process, because we can't do it like a tick mark, or a check mark. You do it once and then you say that, we have already finished the sales training, we have done emotional training, so now I'm done for this. It's not going to get over. Apart from that, we also have an internal redressal forum, because a lot of team members go through a lot of stress, a lot of confusion in this new age, where there is so much happening around. There is so much of technology, disruptions happening. There is so much, discussions and distractions on social media. We are in a very, very evolved and a different work environment, where everything is public, everything is available. You need to know how to be a successful employee in the current scenario under all these circumstances. So we also have redressal forums where we hear them out. Giving an ear to an employee is very important. It's not always one way. Tone from the top or a tone from the training is not going to work. It has to be a two-way street in this current environment.
I agree with you completely. So, Mr. Sunil, in your opinion, what are the critical factors that will determine the successful adoption and implementation of artificial intelligence in white collar settings? Are there any metrics or indicators that help you recognize this?
So, in my view, first and foremost is that the organization should do a organization-wide, review of the workflows, and we need to first measure what is the time it takes to complete each workflow. If I give an example in my business, since we deal with payroll and staffing, we have different workflows. One workflow is the recruitment workflow, right from identifying a candidate to onboarding a candidate. The other workflow is once they onboarded, they need to till the retirement. So onboarding to retirement is done is another workflow. Okay, both the workflows have several areas where technology can be integrated, and in some areas even the artificial intelligence can be implemented. Like for example, in recruitment, we already have some of the tools which are using AI, which helps us to screen and shortlist candidates. And even we have conversational AI usage where chatbots can actually talk. We also have experimented with avatars where if we have to reach to 10,000 candidates, we might take many months, but now this new age avatar integrated with AI and ML can actually talk in any language, and in one go they can reach to several candidates. So all those, when so the organization, when they look at the workflow, they need to see where all you can integrate these new age technological tools, and how the workflow can shrink, in terms of how can we get better efficiency. The whole aim should not be to eliminate a job. The whole aim should be to how to help the employees to improve their productivity using technologies. That's the way we look at it. So we have already done some small experiments in various different aspects of the recruitment and our operations workflow, and we have seen that implementation of technology has helped the recruiters and our operations people to give better outcomes. And also over period, we need to recognize that these jobs are very mundane. You need to do repeatedly, and under certain cycles in a month, they end up overworking. While it's not mandatory to overwork, but at the end of the day, people end up working after office hours, because they need to ensure that salaries are going on time at the end of the month for all the staff what we have deployed across 4,000 3,500 customers. And similarly, the recruitments, we recruit close to 10,000 people every month. So there are certain timelines which they need to meet, so they end up overworking. So if through technology, if the efficiency can improve, if the productivity can be improved, the employees stress also can be relieved, and they will be more successful, more productive, and overall it will create an environment where the employees start believing that technology is actually helping them to get best out of them. And that's the way we look at how AI or the new technologies are going to get integrated with our work environment.
Right. So TeamLease is also working for the blue collar workforce.
Yes.
So I wanted to know that to transition the blue collar workforce into the new white, a lot of upskilling is happening. They're being trained on technology, also language proficiency. These are some critical factors to upskill the blue workforce to the white collar workforce, right? So in your view, what are can you suggest how this transition can happen easily and smoothly?
If I had to look at the different types of employees, you have blue collar, which you called out, blue collar who are typically doing the manual work, and who are basically hands and legs job. Then you have white collar, who are the qualified critical thinking and decision making people. But there is also an intermediary collar, which is the gray collar.
Right.
And this gray collar is suddenly become a huge workforce, because the gray collar are who use technology to complete their jobs. Like typical example is your delivery boys, who were supposed to be blue collar, but they are now in the gray collar segment, because they use technology to deliver the output and to complete their jobs. So already the transition started happening some time back. If you look at Amazon delivery guy or a Swiggy delivery guy or any of these e-commerce guys, they're smart. They can interpret with you, they can answer your queries quickly, they can use technology. So that's already happened. So in fact, a lot of these guys have also started getting some of the low end white collar jobs, because they get experience doing these. If they are able to handle a customer well, then you are a customer care executive. You can become. That's what we look at, customer care executive. Similarly, the blue collar job, which were purely manual handling implementation jobs, they have already upgraded themselves, because across the industries and across the field, if you keep the manufacturing aside, even in a retail store or in a wholesale store or in warehouses, where earlier it was all use of muscle, actually got upgraded, because there are machines which have come in. If you look at the shop floor, with the industry 4 revolution and with the 5G launch, there are a lot of machines which have come in. There are robotic machines which are there, robots are there, so they are already able to work with them. They are able to handle them, so they already upgraded them. So none of these come in vernacular languages, they come with some English, so they already upgraded themselves, and there is a consistent or constant training happening for them to deal with machines. So they are getting upgraded, and the gray collar is already upgraded, and most of them speak English. They speak good Hindi, and they are able to speak to all of us very seamlessly, without any hesitation. Similarly, once the blue collar starts interpreting with all these machines, and also some of the blue collar people have started using, because of the data analytics implementation, they started interpreting data very well, and communicating to their supervisors on what the machine has shown and how to interpret that. So there is the system itself is upskilling all of them because of the introduction of machines. And same will happen with the AI implementation at the lower end. The same thing will happen. So in a way, this is already happening. Having said that, is there a digital divide? Yes, there is a digital divide. There still exists certain portion of employee base who need to be upskilled, who need to be trained on a regular basis. They need to be educated on how to use machines, how to communicate, and communication plays an important role, and interpretation plays an important role. So there is a training and upskilling which is required for them. There is a lot happening currently, some because of the system itself is upskilling them, but there is also an intervention required, is my view.
Right. So as you mentioned about the transition, I think this is one great thing and one great possibility of the technological advancements that are happening. Yeah. So Mr. Sunil, how do you see the role of AI changing the white collar jobs in next 5 years, or let's say in the next decade?
See, in the next 5 to 10 years, in my view, around 60 to 70% of all our jobs will get transitions or transformed, where we will be using some form of generative AI to reach to our certain decisions, and to complete our workflows. So in that sense, it is very important for white collar, by and large, all the white collar should get a preliminary introductory course on AI. So like I have done a course on AI to understand what is all this about, what does it do, and then started understanding more. It's not that difficult to understand how it works, and more the people work, the LLMs will increase, and it will give you better outcomes. So we need to first remove the fear factor from the white collar employees, saying that this is not something who is come to eat your job, but it is going to help you more. So in my view, in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll all be using some form of AI, either to get the proper decisions, or even to aid us to complete certain workflows. So um, we need to be accommodative. We need to understand how this is going to play out, and there may be new disruptive products which can come in future. Nothing is going to replace us, is my view.
So, any last piece of advice for the employers and the employees watching this video?
uh, my advice is that we have to take one at a time. We need to observe how the new technology disruptions are playing out. We need not hurry, or we need not fear. We just need to understand how these new technologies are going to help us to improve our productivity. We need to learn how to deal with them. If the fear comes when you don't know how to handle them, how to deal with them. The moment you take one step, learn the nuances of what the technology is, that how it can help in your area of work, I think then the fear is gone, and then you will start working with it. It's like how you learn to cycle. First few days you are always fearing that you will fall, but once you start once you leave that fear and you start pedaling, you just love cycling. I believe that technology or new disruptions are similar to that, and there's nothing to fear. We need to embrace these new technologies and ensure that we get best outcomes by collaborating with them.
Well, thank you, Mr. Sunil. Thank you for being here with us today. It was a very informative discussion, and I hope all the viewers get a lot of insights from you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Avi, and I wish you best of luck.
Thank you so much.